but that's okay. Told him I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm going to use this, read from this.
All right. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna do a quick little intro.
Sure.
That's all you. Welcome to the Putnam County Library Lunch and Learn. Today we are joined by Ali Bagci, City Councilman and Navy veteran. He'll be talking about how serving the U.S. prepared him for serving Cookeville. Take it away, Ali.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone here today. Being a veteran means having served in the military, typically in a branch such as the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now the newest addition, Space Force. Veterans are individuals who have experienced military life, often facing unique challenges, and have fulfilled their commitment to their country, whether in times of peace, war, and the term veteran not only applies to service, but also represents sacrifice, resilience, and a deep connection to the national defense of the nation. One thing all veterans have in common is the oath taken at the beginning of their service. No matter enlisted or officer, each veteran swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The concept of a veteran also correlates closely to public service. The commitment to duty and sacrifice. Veterans have served in the military, an institution built on service to the public. Their duty to protect and defend their country often involves personal sacrifices such as time away from family, exposure to physical danger, and enduring emotional and psychological hardships. The level of sacrifice embodies the spirit of public service, where the individual prioritizes serving their fellow citizens over personal comfort and or safety. So many veterans transition from military service into civilian roles where they can continue to serve the public. This could include becoming first responders like police officers, firemen, or paramedics, working in government, engaging in nonprofit organizations, or pursuing careers that contribute to the well-being of their community or society at large. Veterans often bring the discipline, leadership, and problem-solving skills honed while serving in the military. Veterans frequently engage in advocacy and leadership roles, pushing policies that support military personnel, their families, and the broader community. They may work to improve veterans' benefits, health care, and services, as well as to promote national security and support for their armed forces brothers and sisters. Many veterans take on roles in government, public service organizations, or even political office, using their military experience to shape policy and to better serve the public. A core principle of military service is the idea of service above self. Veterans often carry the ethos with them into their civilian lives, viewing their ongoing contributions to society as a continuation of their commitment to the public good. This mentality reinforces the importance of public service in all its forms, whether through community volunteerism or public policy. Veterans are often active in civic life. Many view their military service as an integral part of their broader roles as citizens, which includes participating in the democratic process such as voting, advocacy, and community engagement. Their experience gives them a unique perspective on issues related to national security, civil liberties, and the social contract between citizens and the government. In summary, you missed the bulk of my speech. But in summary, veterans bring invaluable leadership to all levels of public service in state and local and national governments. Veterans continue to be a powerful force for positive change. Their leadership is grounded in discipline, honor, and a deep commitment to serving the greater good. Whether through legislative work or community outreach, veterans know how to unite around a shared mission, and they bring the same determination to the issues they champion. The impact of veteran leadership is clear. In Congress, we've seen veterans advocate for bills that improve the VA system, secure funding for veteran services, and promote policies that support military families. Veterans have served on boards and nonprofit organizations providing guidance and expertise to ensure that the needs of veterans are not forgotten. And some have gone to serve in high-level positions within the administration where their perspectives are instrumental in crafting national security and defense policies that keep us safe as a nation. But perhaps most inspiring of all is the way that veterans, even after their service ends, continue to embody the values that have defined their careers. Integrity, duty, service before self, and excellence. These values drive their work in public service and advocacy, making them tireless champions for their peers and for the future of their country. As we look to the future, we must recognize and support the ongoing contributions of veterans to our society. Their leadership and advocacy are not just a continuation of their military service. They are a vital force in shaping a stronger, more resilient nation. We owe them not only our gratitude, but also our commitment to ensure they have the resources, recognition, and opportunities they need to continue their important work. To every veteran here today, or veteran families, and those who have served before and after, we thank you for your service. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to a better tomorrow. We are all better for it. Thank you. Any questions? Anybody would like to ask me anything? We've sat here and talked 30 minutes before the thing started.
How did you get interested in serving on city council?
Interesting. Well, I will tell you, I've always been sort of a political junkie. I actually served as the assistant vice chair of the Buckingham County Republican Party and did that, and then I rolled off because, you only serve so much and then you roll off. And then probably one of the catalysts. Now, obviously, I want to serve to see our community grow and grow smartly, and I think help us move in the right direction. But probably one of the catalysts that said, okay, someone has to do it, why not me, was during COVID. We had a lot of cities and municipalities that were, depending on the leadership, making some decisions that, really hurt the citizens, hurt local businesses. And so that probably led me to reevaluate and realize the importance of local government. It's the local government that's closest to the people that impact the citizens the most. So really your local governments are often the firewall between the federal government and the citizens. So that's one of the reasons why I got interested in local politics and running for city council.
It's like how I said, I speak here about veterans as well, because it was not just my grandfather. I had family from all the way from World War II using my grandfather, cause I couldn't use my great-grandfather, cause he was a merchant marine.
Mm,
And he had
yeah.
there's no paperwork on it.
So, and that's one thing too, is I would often like to recognize the families of veterans, because when you're deployed, when a veteran is deployed, or an active service member is deployed, or you have National Guard or reservists who are called to active duty, and it's the family members that bear the burden. Often, when we're deployed, we have our brothers and sisters in arms to we have that support group. Wherever we go, we're a traveling support group. And really it's the wives and husbands and the children who are here local, who stay home, that bear the burden. And so often there's a strain on those relationships. I remember, when we came back to the States, before we really could go back home for leave and stuff, there was required counseling to teach us how to get plugged back into civilian life and talk to your spouse, talk to your family, talk to people on the street. So there is an adjustment. There's a reset that you have to do when you come back to stateside. The families, they really, are the cornerstone of a successful military career for the person actually serving.
I'm gonna ask more, what did you do in the Navy?
I specialized in aircraft emergency escape and survival systems. So I would do a lot of the blowaway hatches, ejection seats, things like that. So that was kind of my primary role. We did other things as well, but that was my primary function, was that. So I tell people I'm not boat Navy. Don't ask me. I was an air wing. So we, during Desert Storm, I was part of a detachment that we were on the northern border of Syria in Incirlik, and we would fly bombing missions. We got clearance to use Syrian airspace to get over northern Iraq, and we would enforce that northern fly zone back when Saddam Hussein was killing the Kurds, and so we were kind of involved in protecting them during that era, that time. Seems like that was forever ago, Seems like yesterday, but then all of a sudden people said, "Oh, it's been 30 years," So.
I do remember that because,
I'm aging myself too, right?
I was in elementary school when that was going on, and I would see those, Marines and Navy personnel, because I seen the video where the F-18s, the
F-18s, F-14s,
F-16s,
F-16s.
stealth bombers.
Yep.
B-52.
There's a lot going on. It was busy. I was actually part of, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I was part of a team that we specialized in certain explosives too, that, we had that in our arsenal. So it was pretty interesting time, It's quick though. It was over quick, even though I had an extended deployment. I was over there for 7 months. So seems like forever. But now, after you do it, it's like, it doesn't seem that long. 7 months is not a very long time in the whole scheme of things. The older you get, the faster time moves. 7 months is nothing.
That's right.
You got anything for me?
No, I can't think of anything.
So, but I do enjoy being on the city council, and I enjoy serving my community. So,
And I'm gonna tell you, in many events I've been to, I run into this man more than anybody on the city council. The reason I say that is because I'm part of the paper, and they'll sign the paperwork. And, I said, you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I was like, well, thanks for letting me know that, so at least I know.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, when I went to the VA, we had a VA thing there in Murfreesboro for all the vets. And let me tell you, all these veterans come up to me, and I actually went up to their rooms. And during Veterans Day, we would go up there to the home, go to the veterans home, go see them. And I'll tell you, we're losing more, World War II in
Yeah.
Korea and Vietnam.
I read a statistic today that we are starting to lose more veterans through suicide than the actual conflict itself.
You have the scars of Vietnam, cause
So,
I have.
which is tragic, you know.
It is true.
All those deaths are preventable, so. Which is a great, you know, I know that with the American Legion and all these, veteran service organizations, I think that's, based on the ones that I've been to, those have, I should probably join myself. But, that's really been the focus in the last several years is that awareness and support, you know, making sure that veterans have a support system. That's very important, you know, getting them plugged in to an organization like that is therapeutic, more so than a service dog.
I did think of a question
Okay.
along those lines. Could you go over or talk about any resources that veterans do have here in Cookeville? Through the city or maybe even through the
Well,
county?
I will tell you probably one of the best places to go to, because I will tell you, I had some injuries while I was serving, and just really never thought about it until you think about it, because now it's, you know, these things, the older you get, I'm 56 years old, so it's kind of like, you know, I'm at that age where, like, why is that starting to bother me? And it's just because you get old, so. But I will tell you, Mark Harris is tremendous resource. He and also Thomas at the Veterans Administration, they're great, our local chapter, and they are advocates. They will, you know, get you plugged in. If they don't know, they'll call somebody who does know to get those resources. DAV also is a good resource as well. But I always like to go through Mark, because often, you know, veterans, you know, they get discharged and they're just kind of in limbo. Yeah, they're veterans, but there are so many benefits that are available to them, particularly counseling services and stuff like that they can get at no cost. And, you know, it's a good resource. I think that's probably one of the biggest thing is just awareness. And I think Mark does a good job showing up to different events and things like that, just to simply, hey, these are, you know, just handing out literature. So that's probably where I would, probably first place I would send someone is there. And even spouses, military spouses are, you know, if you are a veteran and you get plugged in to the VA, then once you're in the system, your spouse can actually receive benefits too if you pass or something like that as well. So I think a lot of it's income based, but still those resources are there. Like, for example, my father-in-law was a Navy corpsman, and so he passed. So my mother-in-law can actually get long-term health care through the VA, but it's one of those deals where you can't have a lot of assets and things like that. So, but, you know, if you were ever in that unfortunate situation where you financially can no longer stay at home, that kind of thing, then, you know, that's an option too that a lot of people don't realize that it's available to them.
No, that's great, thank you.
You know, it's, very interesting because we've had so many veterans that, cause I know, cause of my uncle when he lost his nephew
Mm-hmm.
in Iraq. Now, it took me a long time to get over that. I had to get some help because I kept seeing the same thing in my cousin getting pulled up over and over and over. And it scared me. And when they videotaped it, I got real upset because they brought the Humvee home and I seen that Humvee right there at the side of the, where they had it. Why do that to him?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's something too, is family members really, you know, there is a PTSD component to serving, often, especially in combat situations and high stress environments. But, you know, family members too, you know, family members of veterans, you know, they suffer too. They have, you know, if you lose that family member, you know, that's sudden, there's no, and so that's a shock, that's a traumatic event, for sure. So, but there are resources for family members as well through the VA.
Thank you, Ollie.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
appreciate y'all having me.